Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. A quick info before we begin. Today's video has two stories and both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user throwaway0312016. Me, 27 female with my boyfriend, 29 male of 7 months, having a problem with social media. I'll start with my side of the argument. I've been with my boyfriend for about 7.5 months now. We have great chemistry and I'm very much in love. We had two big arguments earlier in our relationship and one matter has persistently come up. He refuses to acknowledge our relationship to others online, despite being somewhat active. He checks Facebook several times daily, posts on it, watches and likes what other posts, etc. I notice that he will always like the posts and selfies of a few certain girls he meets at school, and they will reciprocate. I call it the Facebook circle jerk. I know it's so trivial, but when I questioned him about it, he kind of blew up and told me I had jealousy issues and I had to get over it, take care of myself and not bother him with it. This happens every time it comes up. I do realize I am being jealous. I wish it didn't bother me as much as it does. I don't think he's cheating. He is a pretty good boyfriend otherwise. The thing is that he now says the issue is off the table for discussion because I am so unreasonable about it. He says I ruin a perfectly nice day by bringing it up. We have had maybe 5 to 6 arguments about it. I wish I could say we have had one reasonable, non-accusatory, non-confrontational discussion about it, but it hasn't happened. Here's the gist of every argument. I say, hey, that stuff on Facebook looks shady. He says, hey, you're jealous and crazy. Why are you like this? This is a you issue. You need to sort it out yourself and not waste my time. You have other things to worry about. The conversation ends with me pissed off and him asking if I'm still mad a few hours later. I brought up the issue again yesterday morning and he told me to stop wasting time. I went on Instagram later at night and saw that he was following a new girl, one who was super attention seeking. Think of a lot of breasts and body parts hanging out. He said she was just a friend from school. I overreacted and told him he was being a creep. He blocked me from Facebook as punishment. It was embarrassing. I felt like I was being treated like a child. If I think about the heart of the matter, I feel like there is a lack of respect. We have mutual friends and when they see the circle jerk on Facebook, who he follows on Instagram, it embarrasses me. I kind of see someone's online social media presence as an exotic of public view, and his makes me uncomfortable. I would be fine if he were a little more low-key about looking at sexy ladies on Instagram or Facebook. Of course, he is a guy and enjoys looking at attractive women online and that's fine. Just don't do it where I and our friends can see it. Now, this is his side of the argument. He says that Facebook is a dumb thing to fight about. I agree, it's never been an issue in my past relationships and it's killing me that I'm having a problem with this now. He thinks that the topic should never have to come up for discussion ever again. He thinks that if he gave in and were more consensuous about his online presence, then I would try to control every other aspect of his life too. I don't want this to be the case and would like to think that I wouldn't do this. Reddit, do you think it's a slippery slope? I apologize in advance, this is so effing trivial. I read this subreddit regularly and many of you have real relationship issues. I've been stewing about this for months now and could really use some fresh eyes and advice. Well, OP, in my opinion, your boyfriend is gaslighting the crap out of you. And also quite successfully blame shifting if he's got you thinking about it's a Facebook problem. It's not a Facebook problem. Facebook has nothing to do with it. It's his behavior that has everything to do with it. And you are absolutely right. At the heart of the matter, it is all about respect. In my opinion, there are 3 things that hold strong relationships together. Respect, chemistry, and admiration. He clearly doesn't respect you like you say. And it's not about acknowledging your relationship in social media. It's about not behaving like an ass in social media while you have a girlfriend. I gotta say, OP, this relationship doesn't look good at all. I mean, you've been in it just for 7.5 months, so it is still a very young relationship. And you've already had 5 to 6 big arguments about this, and this has been going from the start of the relationship. Honestly, OP, I would do what your boyfriend says, that this thing is off the table, and so is he. I'd be done with this relationship. His disrespectful behavior would be a deal breaker for me. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Jaden Smith and Hitch says, this all makes him sound so childish. Regardless of whether you are irrationally jealous or not, he is 29? Being called crazy is dismissive. Saying it's just your problem acknowledges that it might be a slippery slope for him to dismiss all of your grievances in this matter. This is a real relationship issue. It does sound like a lack of respect, and it does sound like he talks down to you. Forget the Facebook relationship status or the girls he looks at. Think about the way he talks to you. And OP responds, damn, thanks for this. It really isn't about the Facebook all that much in the end. There were things I couldn't voice to my boyfriend because I didn't know why I felt the way I did. Thank you, really. I hope I can make a point for myself later. Jellyberry says, I think this is both on your parts. I think personally you're overreacting with checking who he follows and demanding things like being clean, etc. If he denies having a girlfriend or claims being single, then that's a red light that you should either walk away or toughen out to make him see the light. I think his sudden snaps are childish after you bring up social media, and I think both of you need to deal with this slowly, especially if punishment is blocking each other off Facebook. And Deleted says, he probably doesn't want to talk about it because he knows what he's doing is wrong and bothers you. The fact that he blocked you from Facebook is incredibly childish. I personally would have dumped him for disrespecting your wishes and simply lacking empathy. And OP responds, yeah, I really don't expect him to stop doing something simply because it makes me sad or anything. I just wanted a conversation where I didn't get shut down immediately. Alright, well, the community is pretty clear. This dude does not respect OP, and OP is seeing it. Unfortunately, OP did not leave any additional context in the comment section, which means we move straight on to the update, but of course before that, here's another one of my playlists for you to enjoy after this video. Now, let's move on to that update. This is not going to be a big shocker, but I broke up with my ex-boyfriend. I showed him the previous post and he was quiet for quite a while. I thought he felt a morsel of remorse. Nope. Later, when I asked him what he thought about it, he said, all of them are crazy and wrong. He continued to follow random girls on Instagram, so I sat him down and very calmly said, we are going to have to talk about this. He immediately dismissed me again and said that we weren't going to. I told him that this relationship wouldn't work out if we couldn't talk about these things. She shrugged and said, I guess not then. Do you want to break up? I just sighed and said, yes. I was so tired. The incident I posted about did not even skim the surface of all the issues we had in our relationship. For example, we are both in grad school and I had to be in a different city for the previous month. It was the first time we had to be apart for so long. We missed each other a lot, so I decided I would come home on the weekends. It was a 6.5 hour drive. I would finish work at around 2 p.m. on Fridays and drive back to our apartment at 8 or 9 p.m. I thought we would cherish the weekends together, but he spent the time antagonizing me and driving me crazy. Another weekend when I left, I accidentally took his toothbrush with me. It is an electric toothbrush and they are both the same model, except that his was brand new. He had just gotten it as a present from his dad. It was an honest mistake, but he flipped out and refused to speak to me when he found out. I apologized profusely and ordered a new set of brush heads on Amazon so he could still use my toothbrush base. He would not text back or respond to me for a whole day after the incident and refused to talk about it afterward. Another weekend, I came back with my back killing me from driving 6.5 hours home in traffic. I asked him to give me a back massage. He refused and asked me why I didn't do the dishes. Honestly, I could probably count on one hand the number of times he has apologized for things that were legitimately his fault, like being endlessly critical of me, making horribly racist remarks about certain groups of people, and making snide remarks about my friends. If I had to guess, it would be a 1:25 ratio of apologies to actual incidents. If I ever tried to get him to stop, I was being unsupportive and mean for making him feel bad. This is despite always reinforcing that I was utterly in love with him, but I wanted him to stop acting a certain way or saying crass things. One Redditor brought up respect. Oh man, he did not respect me very much at all, and he never really did. I just made up excuses for him and let his physical affection make up for his emotional douchebaggery. We were both moving out of the apartment to a different state, and some tiny muffled voice of reason finally grew the strength to yell, "Get out now!" Luckily, my friend had an apartment she was living in and let me house sit while she visited her family for 2 weeks. I cried maybe 5 times a day. I didn't eat or sleep for an entire week. I lost about 15% of my body weight and barely mustered the strength to get out of bed. My friends and family absolutely saved me. I called one of them every day. I apologized a lot for being so distant the last few months and suddenly being so needy when my relationship fell apart. They were all incredibly supportive and non-judgmental. It's been over 2 months, but I'm still getting choked up about how wonderful they've been. Being physically apart from my ex has opened my eyes to how bad my relationship was. He has been texting because he seems to think that we had an amicable breakup, what the F, and that there is a chance we could get back together. Nope, 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 nope. I let him know that there wasn't, but he is convinced that he is in love with me and that I would always be his and him mine. Were we in the same relationship? He also got angry and said I was focusing on the bad things and that I was just throwing all the good away. Sure, there were good times, but he was unwilling to communicate in a healthy way for any conflict we had. I think it's what people refer to as a deal breaker. It's like if he offered me a BLT sandwich with just a little sliver of feces in it and got mad when I didn't want to eat it. In his mind, it's a sliver, but trust me, it was like a 40% crab sandwich. These days, I am enjoying the time with myself. I've still got to address why I couldn't stand up for myself in my relationship, and a little part of me is still angry that I didn't get out of this sooner. I think I really wasn't ready for a serious relationship at the time, and I got swept up in an intoxicating experience for a while. Anyway, I am so grateful to the random helpful people of Reddit. Thank you for all your concerns and PMs. They were honestly very helpful and gave me the confidence to break up. Life is too short to waste on a bad relationship. Well, OP, I'm gonna call this a happy update, not just because you dropped the toxic, but also because of your learning. Life is too short to waste on a bad relationship. That is on point. So good for you, OP, and here's wishing you all the best in the future. Take care and thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. A quick warning before this second story. In it, somebody threatens to end their life, so if that is something that makes you uncomfortable, you might want to skip this story. Now let's move on. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user QZ1313. I, 26 male, think I ruined my ex-girlfriend's life by calling the cops on her, 26 female. Our relationship had been rocky for a while now, and today I broke up with her. Later on, she posted the word suicide on Facebook. This concerned me a lot because she had previously talked about it on several occasions when she was dealing with a lot of stress from work and family related stuff, and now me. This was not why we broke up. I wanted to break up for many general compatibility reasons, ranging from how much time we should talk on the phone to what kind of food we like to eat. I was definitely an imperfect boyfriend and she is not a bad person. I just saw no future for us because we frequently argued about the dumbest things. I do not love her anymore. Because of her latest Facebook post and our previous conversations on the topic, I called the police on her. I gave them her phone number and address so they could check on her. However, she was not home, she was at work. Her shifts vary a lot because her job is mostly on call, so she got escorted out of work by cops and was humiliated in front of her co-workers and boss. She was sent to a hospital and spent half a day in the psych ward. She said she might lose her job over this and her parents think she is a psychopath. I feel like I ruined her life by potentially getting her fired and deteriorating her relationship with her parents. I feel like I should have realized she wasn't answering her phone because she was at work or on her way to work and that I should not have called the cops on her. I talked to a friend and the non-emergency line for the police station and they said my reaction was reasonable given her history, but I still feel awful for getting her humiliated at work. I thought they would call her or go to her house to check on her. Honestly, I did not want to date her and we didn't even get along that well, but I did not wish her any harm. She is not a bad person. I did not want to get her fired. I failed to consider this before calling the cops. I did not want to ruin her life. She is out of the psych ward now and is still pissed I called the cops, but she still wants to get back together. I do not want to get back together. I do not love her anymore. I want her to be safe and healthy, but I don't want to date her. How do I effectively communicate this? Well, OP, the best way to be effective about communicating this is to block her number, her social media, and just go no contact. OP, what happened to your ex-girlfriend is not your fault at all. It is all on her. Why would she post that on Facebook and not expect anybody to actually do something about it? That's just stupid. Whatever consequences she has to deal with because of what she wrote is on her. You did nothing wrong. You actually did the right thing and the police are right. If somebody writes that on Facebook and you see it, the first thing you do is call the cops for a wellness check. OP, the truth is that she was trying to emotionally manipulate you into getting back together with her because that's the first thing that she was worried about once she was released from the psych ward. So yeah, again, it's a good thing that you did what you did. Now block her number and go no contact. As the saying goes, play stupid games, you know the rest. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. The Dirty Future says, "Don't feel bad, buddy. Not sure if this is true in your case, but controlling people abuse their spouse by making fake threats like this. Making you worry is a means of control. If this is the case, then she needs to know there's consequences to distressing people in such a way. I have no way of knowing if this is what is happening. Do a little research on abusive relationships. There are a few clear telltale signs that will let you know right away. Keep in mind that if she is abusive, she'll try to use your guilt over embarrassing her to control you as well." Teen Line This Is Nitro says, "You say you feel awful for getting her humiliated at work? How would you feel if she was serious and she was dead and you didn't do anything? You did the right thing under the circumstances. I understand feeling guilty about the outcome, but really, you did the right thing. Oh, and absolutely do not get back together with her." And Real Jar Shug says, "It sucks, but this is not your burden to bear. I dated a guy whose ex traumatized our new relationship with the same threats your ex made. She was the thorn in our side because she only ever did it to get his attention. It was never serious. I know this for a fact." For me, that takes away from the seriousness of other people who are in that dark place. He stopped contacting her and notified her family and friends that she was threatening this. Nothing ever came of it, and once she realized her threats weren't working, she turned into the sweetest, most understanding girl you've ever met. And then all she wanted to do was talk. He rebuffed it all. She's out of our lives now, finally. It was suitable for all of us. The best thing you can do is notify people close to her because she is threatening suicide. Whether it is accurate or not, she shouldn't take attention away from people who do feel this way. She threatened it, it should be taken seriously. You did the best thing and it's not ruining her life. It could potentially be a wake-up call. You shouldn't be forced into anything out of guilt. OP, it's your time to move forward. Best of luck. Alright, well, the community was pretty clear as well. OP did the right thing, and whatever consequences she's facing because of it, well, it's on her. So now let's move on to the update to see what happened next and how the story ends. So, when I read what she wrote on Facebook, I was at work about an hour away. I tried texting and calling but did not receive any reply. I asked several of her friends to message her, but I don't have them on Facebook, so I don't even know if they saw my message. There was about an hour between me seeing her post, not receiving any reply from her, text or call, I was blocked on Facebook by her, not receiving any response from her friends, and finally deciding to call the cops. I did not do this with malicious intentions, I just wanted out of her life and her post caught me totally off guard. Anyway, she told me today that she was fired because of me calling the cops and her being escorted from work. I feel absolutely awful about this, and she wasn't just fired, she also had a license related to her job, she works in a trade, revoked. She worked for years and did many hours to earn that license, and now she is prevented from doing further courses to further her career. I seriously think I ruined her life. No, you didn't. I did not consider her getting fired as a possible consequence of my calling the police. I definitely did not think they could take away licenses she took years to earn. She was only at the psych ward for a couple of hours, and I was told by the police that normally people are kept under watch for a day or two, so the doctors must have thought she was okay, but she still got fired and lost the license. I don't want to be involved in her life anymore, but I totally effed things up for her. Is there any recourse for her? She said she is unable to dispute the license being revoked. I also thought you could not fire someone for mental illness. I'm in Canada. Though I guess this was unique because the cops showed up. So basically her life is way worse than before because of what I did. Extended update from OP's comments. Thank you all for your comments. I realize now that she could be lying about everything she claims has happened. If it was real, she needed help. If it wasn't, then she deserves what happened. Suicide is not a joke. So I blocked her on everything. I'm tired of defending the fact that I called the police. I hope she gets help and sorts it all out. I hope it does not come down to a restraining order. Now, I didn't go zero contact immediately. I still talked to her a bit when she was being held for evaluation at the hospital and after she was released. But afterward, it was just repetitive, her asking to get back together and her being pissed that I called the cops. I am adamant that I do not want to get back together, and I could only apologize for causing all that trouble so much. I'm still 50-50 on whether my actions were justified. Maybe I overreacted and I should have known better. I really don't know. So I just blocked her. Once again, thanks for your input. I'm trying to get past the situation now. I think I acted reasonably. Yep, you acted absolutely reasonable, OP. You said it perfectly. If it was real, then she needed help. If it wasn't, then she deserves everything that happens from it. Those types of threats are not a joke, and they should be taken seriously. So once again, OP, you did the right thing. Good for you. Thank you so much for sharing, and all the best in the future. Take care, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.